Oh no, you need something for IO.
Video mention.
I don't know what he did. All you do is you attach it and then you install it. I showed him.
Yeah, I forgot you have to do that for Windows.
We actually did get it.
Alright, we're straight live.
Okay.
But I
I know
saw
you can set the Windows box.
The meeting.
he did.
Alright, so those of you who did the NCAA tryouts, you should have already seen my announcement, but final 20 have been chosen. If you have any teammate preferences, just let me know either after the club meeting or just message me on Discord. Anyway, I will try to have them solidified by tonight so that I can send out instructions on registering tomorrow and everyone can get ready and actually start preparing for the comp because the regionals are in like 2 weeks. So that's my bad for being kind of slow, but also people kept asking for extensions on the tryouts that only take 2 hours. So it's not entirely my fault. I think that's pretty much it regarding that. If I had my Jolly Ranchers, I'd ask who was on the team and I'd give people, but I lost them, so unfortunate, but good chunk of you over here. All right, main topic for today is we are, once again, for the second time, announcing DSU CTF Club's competition that we're trying to make called HiveCTF. So a little bit about it. It's going to be a standard Jeopardy CTF style, so that's what you're used to. It's, you go pick out a challenge, download some files, whatever. We're going to have all the usual categories, list up there. Basically everything you've heard about in this club is going to be in there. One cool thing is we got Roman from Meta CTF to agree to host it, and he said he'd do it for free, so we actually don't have to pay for hosting at all, which is really awesome. It means that we can allocate computer club funds for better things like Pizza Ranch during CCDC regionals. Anyway, the idea behind it is basically it's going to be created and run by DSU students. So essentially the club leadership and Carice will basically act as like, the sort of council or whatever. And then everyone else kind of defers to them and, proposes challenge ideas, tests other people's challenges, etc., etc. And the idea is on the day of, we have 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is our planned timeline right now on April 18th. So clear that day if you can, either to help run it, provide support for challenges, or play in the competition yourself if you're interested. There is a channel in the Discord for HiveCTF. If you are interested in helping or know someone who would be interested in helping, have them message me or send a message in the Discord. Just contact someone in some way to say that you're interested in making challenges, and we'll get you set up in that channel where we'll do organization. I added some random people already who I think might be interested, but I don't know if any of them have noticed that. It'll be a virtual competition, so the idea is that it will be open to anyone. I think the current plan is to have a separate bracket for university students and have that be the only bracket that can actually win prizes. And Computer Club will be providing funding for prizes. TBD what those will be, but so it'll be open to anyone, but only university students can win prizes. I think that sounds good. Basically, this will be a great chance to test your own CTF knowledge. Maybe you've played in a bunch, but you've never made a challenge before. It'd be a great opportunity to try that out, see how well you know what actually goes into making one. But it's totally okay if you don't know, because it's also a learning opportunity. You get to research something that interests you and maybe make it into a challenge. Maybe there's an idea for a challenge that you've never seen before and you're like, it'd be cool if someone made something like that. Well, you could make something like that. Or if you think that someone else would be better at it, you can also posit it as well. Basically, if you have an idea at all, even if you don't feel like you are able to implement it, throw it out there, and then we can either work with you to actually make it a challenge or have someone else pick it up. So basically, I encourage you, anyone you know who might be interested in making even one challenge, send them our way, and we'll make it happen because we actually need quite a bit. I think Roman told us we need probably about 30 or 40 challenges, which I think by my calculations is we need to make about 2 a week from now until the competition starts. So I'd rather get the ball rolling on that as soon as possible. What?
That's more than 2 a week. It's less than 15 weeks out.
Yeah, well, I think it was.
Or was the math?
I think it was 2 a week. Last time I checked for 30
And
challenges.
how many have been made?
So 0.
There's one. There's
One.
Wait, no, there's two.
2.
There's 2? Did
There
you
we go.
make the
Okay.
2?
No, Muhammad made one.
And we still need to, but basically, most important thing we need is we need people to make challenges, come up with ideas, implement them, test them. That's the biggest thing we need. So again, if anyone you know, this is like an infomercial on TV. If you or your loved ones, let them know about this. Drag your friends along, make them do stuff too.
Very important question.
Yes, Grace.
If I make things, can I compete? If like, not like the people actually organizing the whole thing, but if someone's like making 1 or 2 challenges,
I would
can you
say
compete, but maybe not prizes or?
I would say that's probably open to discussion. I know what some schools do is they have like university, like their university bracket, every other university, and then there's everyone else. Like Pennsylvania State CTF has a Penn State bracket, university bracket, and everyone else bracket. We might be able to do something like that. I don't know. It's just a little tough. It really depends, like if people want to make challenges and compete, that's really the only time it becomes an issue. But yeah, so another thing we need to decide is a weekly meeting time. I think the best options would be right after this club meeting, so we'd just stay in here from 7 to 8, and it basically just work on stuff, report progress, things like that. Otherwise, Friday evening, ? I mean, I don't know, I guess, are any of you possibly interested in helping out with this? Okay. You're doing it, John. I'm deciding
you don't
right
get an
now.
option.
Okay.
So I guess just like, what kind of, would work best, do you think? Because I know like AI clubs right after this, and I don't want to step on their toes too much, but
I just,
at the same time,
prefer from 7 to 8 than on a Friday evening.
yeah.
But it's also because I have nothing on Fridays.
Yeah, and this is also flexible, obviously, we don't need to, and it's not a big deal if we want to change it to fit people. And it's also, this another great thing about stuff like this, is most of this can be done over Discord. Like, really the purpose of the weekly meetings is just to ensure everyone's on task and actually getting things done. But yeah, another thing, people to test challenges. I think the idea is like, if you make a challenge, you should also help test other people's challenges, sort of provide quality assurance and make sure that they're up to snuff, basically. And then also, if you are interested in making or finding someone to make marketing material, logos, posters, that sort of thing, feel free to let us know. And that way we can have a more solidified brand and we can kind of, maybe draw people's eyes a little more. And then also just tell people about this. Again, like I said, anyone you think might be interested in making even one challenge, tell them it's happening, send them our way. We'll help them make one. It would be cool. All right, that's probably, I don't know, probably enough waffling about that.
Do you have an idea of what kind of logo you want?
What kind of what?
What kind of logo you want?
So I was thinking, how like the DSU logo and like all the computer club logos are all like hexagons.
Yeah, the blue hexagon.
So that's why like I came up with the name HiveCTF as kind of a pun based on that. So if you could come up with like something that's related to bees or something, maybe like you could replace like the blue outline hexagon, like make it yellow and then have some sort of
I was
icon.
gonna ask color scheme that you wanted.
Yeah, yellow. Right, Jacob? Does that sound good?
Sure.
Yes.
I will say if you have a specific tool or topic you want to dive deeper into just because you like it, making a challenge related to it is a really good way. So like earlier, I spent way too many hours learning how to use volatility, and now like I would say at least solidly proficient at it because I spent so much time designing, right? Because you have to make it and then you have to test it a bunch
See, that's my
and
fear.
stuff. So
That's my fear about the dozens of hours that would be spent on one challenge is my fear.
yeah. Well, I'm just saying if anyone has specific things you might want to look into, this would be a good way to do that.
Yeah, no, and like I said, like a lot of us know broad range of things, so like if there is some tool that you think is cool but you don't really know how to work it into a challenge, ask someone, ask us. The channel in the Discord, I can show it off actually, is styled as a forum. And so the idea is basically that each challenge will have its own post essentially, and you can kind of just it's basically self-contained, and then you can look at what are other people working on, what do people need help with, etc., etc. I also added these tags. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Discord forum feature, but you can add tags for like the category, and I think regular users can only add the needs review tag, but us moderators can change the status basically to see how far along we are. I'd probably also set up like a spreadsheet with like challenges at some point, just kind of mapping out like categories and amounts per category, and like have set it up so, well, honestly, probably could just use the Discord channel for that. I mean, I have instructions in here, so once you have access to this channel, you can see like there's my instructions, whatever. It's basically a lot of the same stuff I covered here. But I think that's pretty much it on that. Anything else you want to add, Jacob or Carice? Not really.
Seems good to me.
Yeah. Again, any questions, ask any of us, ask anyone on the CTF Club leadership, or Carice.
Yeah, I love how it's or me because
Or Carice.
I can't add another leadership thing. There's too many. They'll be embezzling.
Alright, now we'll get into our actual CTF category for the day. This one is kind of a little, I guess, an odd and end log analysis and data manipulation. So first we'll kind of talk about like what that even means. So log analysis is basically you're given a log file or multiple log files, or maybe it's a full file system image and you have to go into the logs directory. But basically a lot of the times they'll ask you questions about like, when did a certain event occur, or what IP address did this attack come from, etc., etc. These kinds of questions are pretty common in things like National Cyber League, where they're not necessarily flags in the traditional sense. But basically just ripping through logs and looking for interesting events, interesting machines, interesting programs that are running, things like that. And a sort of subset of that is you're probably all familiar with a packet capture, which is essentially just a log of network packets. So it shows, source and destination IP addresses, header data, payload data as well if it's an unencrypted protocol. But sometimes you'll have challenges that are like reconstructing exfiltration data from a packet capture, or determining where a man-in-the-middle attack occurred, etc., etc. And then data manipulation is often related. A lot of the times it's also going to be on like a log file, or sometimes a CSV file, an Excel spreadsheet, a JSON file, something like that. And you'll basically be given something that's insanely hard to read. Like I'll show you one later that's like some 20,000 line file. It's basically impossible to figure out what you need to do just by looking at it. So basically you'll run some commands or use some tool to like say perform an analysis or extract like a certain piece of data from that file. So like, which record did, this fraudulent transaction occur or something like that. And you have to basically determine based on the data you're given what that is. Usually these kinds of challenges you either find in like the forensics category or just like a miscellaneous. They're kind of, like I said, they're kind of little off on their own. They're not exactly the same as a lot of other challenges. Next, I'll talk about some tools. So for packet captures, biggest one is going to be Wireshark. Pretty much the only thing you're ever going to need for anything related to a packet capture. I guess I should have put on here for some like log analysis tools or some just like logging tools in general. Like on Linux, you'll have like the systemd journal. On Windows, you'll have Event Viewer, or like some of the sysinternals tools can do logging. It's usually you're not gonna have like a full-on like Splunk instance for a CTF, but if you ever do like defensive competitions, you might see something like that. So you know, being able to use those tools can be helpful. They're just not so applicable to CTF in particular. Biggest thing you're going to be using for log analysis and especially data manipulation is going to be the Linux command line. You're going to be a cool real hacker. So grep and awk are both very, very useful for both types of challenges. Grep does basically regex, regular expression searches through a file. It can also do like plain text and whatever. And you can pass various flags to say like, you know, only show me lines that don't match this condition, or, you know, show me the 3 lines above and below ones that match this condition, etc., etc. That's going to be a very powerful tool for basically narrowing down what you're looking at to oftentimes a single line. Awk is basically designed for data manipulation, but it can also be used to search through files as well. But awk is very, very powerful. If any of you know Ethan Clark, you've probably heard lots about awk. It's a great tool. I'm not super familiar with it myself, but it can be used to just absolutely destroy challenges related to this stuff. Makes a lot of things really easy. I threw up some other common ones up there. Sort command, there's various ways.
What's column do?
Column is
I've never heard of that.
yeah, it's a funky little command. If we look at column here, basically you give it like a list and it will turn it into a table, essentially.
Interesting. Okay, I never heard of it.
There is a very excellent video.
My favorite thing is just to use cut.
Oh, I actually use
Sort
awk.
and chain them
Dude,
all
I forgot about
together.
cut.
Yeah.
There's a very excellent video by Veronica
Oh, I
Explains
see. I search it.
covering the column command. It's like
I wish hers the find command's really
8
nice.
minutes. Yeah, she also has a nice one on find. Carice mentioned the cut command that I forgot to put up there. That one's also very, very useful for these types of challenges because you can basically, once you've narrowed it down to a certain line, you can then use cut to narrow it down to like a specific field even. Sort, pretty obvious. It sorts a list based on, you know, various conditions. You can either sort alphabetically or numerically, or like there's one option I think for sorting like file sizes and like the human readable, you know, range. Unique, I guess, basically filters out duplicate lines. So if you have like a big file where maybe the order of the lines doesn't necessarily matter, you can sort them and then use unique to filter it down to just the unique lines. There's also a flag for sort-u that does basically the same thing. Rev is a fun one that just reverses the text input you give it. Sometimes that can be useful. Column, like I said, can be used to turn lists of data into a column or a table. That can be pretty helpful if you're working like with a big CSV or some other like separated values list. Sometimes it's kind of hard to read, especially if like the data is different lengths. You can use column to make it into a nice readable table. Otherwise, you can also just like open it in Excel or LibreOffice Calc. That works too. TR is extremely powerful. It's the text translation in the sense of like manipulating it, not changing the language. But you can do stuff like convert from lowercase to uppercase. You can reverse strings. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with it. It's very, very powerful. Especially in combination with the above tools. So I guess I can show you a quick example of a awk script that I use. So let's see here, which folder is that? Tip of the iceberg. So for the Mountain West Cyber Challenge that happened in January, there was one data manipulation challenge where you're given a bunch of CSV files and most of these are like insanely long. Like if I just do, yeah, you've got like one that's 100,000 lines long. You've got a couple 27,000 line files. Most of them are at least a couple hundred, so it's entirely impractical to go through them line by line. So the idea is that you run some scripts or some other sort of tool to figure out various pieces of information related to these CSV files. So one of the questions, one of the flags, was looking at this, that's the wrong file, is this file of, I believe it's invoice purchase order. This file of purchase orders here. So you can see it's CSV that uses a vertical bar as the separator, and most of this is entirely meaningless. But if you see in that second column there, which let's go ahead and columnate that, I believe it's T for table. And I think I have to do, is it -S for separator? Yes. And then -S is the vertical bar. So that also does not do what I want. That's cool. Oh wow. Is that wrong? Oh, that's the wrong file. That's fine. The invoice purchase order. So let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so we can kind of columnate there with the column command.
Nice
Fancy. You can also like head on that. Anyway, so one of the questions is basically asking in this second field here, PO_ID, which stands for purchase order ID. It was asking how many of these purchase orders have sequential IDs, because basically the scenario was looking for like fraudulent transactions, and one of the questions was about purchase order IDs. So I basically extracted out the list of purchase order IDs into this file. I sorted them sequentially, and then I found this little awk script on Stack Overflow that will go through and count sequential runs up and runs down. In this case, since the file is ordered from small to big, it only counts up. But if we run this script here, we can see we have 7 different increasing order runs. If you total those numbers, you get 103, which was not the flag. So I don't really know what they wanted with this challenge, because as far as I know, that's the right answer, but whatever. Another thing I forgot to mention, in the tools category, sometimes you can throw a giant log file into an AI and it will actually get the answer right. But most of the time you have to double check, because sometimes it will just make shit up, so.
AI making shit up?
Just one more token.
You don't have the premium versions that will like only read in the
If you use
first
the fast
10,000
version,
lines and then it'll give you a fake answer.
Yeah, so be very careful with that. It's probably better to just actually solve the challenge. But if you're desperate, you can, or if you're desperate or you're doing the Mountain West Cyber Challenge, those are synonyms, you can throw it into an AI. Alright, anyway, Jacob, did you want to cover one of your challenges?
Yeah, sure. I'll just do a quick demo on some Wireshark stuff, how to extract fields from packet captures. This is kind of handy, I guess.
Could you go into Discord and stream?
Yeah.
And then for the YouTube. Sorry guys, that's my bad.
for the YouTube stream. I'll just watch you describe.
Okay.
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 Macro.
Time to clear my screen real quick.
Okay,
Okay, so I have this xfill.pcap,
and I'm
and pretty sure it's kind of sus. So
I'm just
I'm just gonna open it in Wireshark, and I already had the solution in there.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is
So this is one of the challenges from our platform.
It's basically
someone
there's a flag
hidden
hidden
in here. Someone,
if
if some of you
haven't seen
before,
a lot of times
like
command and
command and control, what attackers will do
is they might
infiltrate one of your servers,
and then
they need to sneak data that they're stealing out somehow,
and they need to
do that in some way that hopefully you won't notice.
So a lot of times
what they'll do is they'll use something like DNS packets
or
HTTP packets. Those are the two most common ones,
and
they'll send
real looking requests outbound back to their infrastructure. And if you have some kind of firewall rule on that maybe you're allowing all web browsing outbound,
right? They're gonna be able to sneak their stuff out
through these
protocols.
And so that's kind of what the point of this challenge is. We have this packet capture where someone did exactly that. So I mean, I'm just looking around. You have a bunch of random crap in here. And then you can quickly see. I mean, let's check and see. The most common ones. We have HTTP. You can look at some of the. I guess they're not showing up in here, but these are all for just like example.com. So that's kind of weird, but the reason it's that is because I generated this packet capture with code, and it's not a real packet capture. But I mean, if I look at DNS, okay, we have YouTube and Reddit and Bing, and then there's this highly suspicious looking domain called something dot challenge dot rogue DNS dot server station, which probably isn't a real DNS server, or that probably isn't a real domain, right? So I mean, let's look into me expand my window a little bit here so you can actually see. If I look into one of these DNS requests a bit more, I can see this is a DNS query, right? So we send queries out to a DNS server, and then in this case the query is for that domain name, challenge, server station, whatever, and then hopefully the DNS server is going to send us a response back of what the IP address is. If you're not familiar with DNS, that's the basic idea. But so if we look at this pack here, we can see it's a type A request. Does anyone tell me what a type A request in DNS is? IPv4. Yes. Will is correct. Did you have any additional thing to say, John?
One of the record types of the IPv4. So there's like the A, and there's like the 4 A's, right? And then there's the mail like MX is mail, right?
Yep.
And then there's like C name or something.
C name is just an alias.
Yeah.
C name is just a lookup of an A name.
There's like one or two other ones I can't remember though.
Yeah.
So
as Will correctly said, this type A request means we're asking the DNS server what the IP address of this domain is. But as you can see, there's this weird data on the front of there that looks a little suspicious. So I guess what we can do is I can say let's see, how did I do this? Think we can limit to type A requests. So I'm gonna add some filters to try to limit down what we have showing up in the window here. So I want only queries that are going out. So I'm gonna right click on this field right here. I want to say apply as filter, and then I want to select hand selected. And now I'm only seeing the queries. And then what I also might want to do is limit it to only requests that have this substring in there. So we're gonna look at all the suspicious ones. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe what I can do is DNS dot query dot name, which is the name of this field that holds the domain value. And I think I can say contains found. And then now I can see there's a whole string of these sus-looking names. Does anyone have any idea what these strings on the front of these requests might be? What kind of data that might be?
Some kind of hex.
Hex?
Yes,
Yes, it is hex.
Only saw A through F. Like,
Just give it an hour.
Yeah, for some reason my internet seems to be kind of slow here.
Looking up
YouTube.com. I don't know why we need that in order to access this website, but go figure, I guess.
So I'm
gonna bring up my favorite tool.
And
let's just test and see what this is. 54, 68, 69, 73. So 68, 69, 73. I can do from hex. And it says this. So clearly, yes, Chris is right. This is hex data.
So the
problem is,
I don't really want to type all this out. So I kind of need a way to extract it. That would be nice if I had that, right? Luckily, I do have that. It is T-shark. Yes.
The problem is I haven't memorized the syntax of using this. So I have this command saved right here. T-shark tag R, and then I gave it the name of my packet capture, which I believe I'm not sure what the tag R exactly means, to be honest, but I guess that's specifying that I want to read from this packet capture. And we have tag capital Y here, which if you notice this filter that I have here is it's not quite exactly the same because here I used equals 0 and here I used equals false. But it's the same filter. So what I'm saying is basically I want to filter only these packets that I'm interested in. And now I can use tag T to say I want to extract certain fields, right? Because that's how all these packets are built. There's just all these different things are called fields, and then we have the value. So I want to extract a certain field from the packets, and I want to extract dns.query.name, which is going to be this field right here, or rather this field right here. You can see when I click on the field, it gives me the official name down here, so I know that's the name that I want to extract. So if I run this command, it gives me all of my fields here. But I'm really just interested in the first part. So I'm gonna run this again, but I'm gonna use cut. I'm gonna split on dots, and then I'm gonna take the first field because we just want this hex. And then here we go. Now I have all my hex data. And then I kind of want that all on one line. So yes, as I learned 15 minutes ago, because I apparently suck at Linux, I believe what I can do is remove the new lines with that. I'm guessing tag D just means delete. And then I have this big string of hex. So for convenience, I'll just copy paste this into the window I happen to already have up. And then it tells me this is a secret message that someone exfiltrated, blah blah blah, and then there's a flag in there. So I was able to pull out from this rubbish all the data and get what I wanted out of it.
Yeah, 5,000 packets, too much to come through individually.
A lot of times you'll get some kind of packet capture that'll have something embedded in there, but there are these features here where you can do export objects that might work on some easier challenges, but a lot of times, especially if you're ever looking at real PCAPs, you're gonna have to manually carve out the data you're looking for. So T-Shark is really nice for that. That was a demo I had. I don't know. Rita has the vault of various files that.
Should we go search through the archives? See if there's the Mountain of Cyrus one is really the only one off the top of my head.
Do you have any of the binary ones? Those are kind of cool. The only problem is I don't know that I'd be able to solve that binary.
Oh, is that right there? Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
You must have heard me and be like, no.
We will get banned.
Wait, what? Wait, how we get banned or what?
Nah,
What?
it's just nothing. I'll tell you later, John.
Okay, I'm not in the know. Okay.
We don't get banned from things, John.
We get people banned.
That show's better.
Hopefully not.
I recently upgraded the CTF folder in my home directory
Oh wow,
to the
you organize stuff?
because it was under repositories, but now it's its own folder.
Wow. It's like you do so many CTFs, it deserves to be its own folder.
Really now, look, it's organized by year. Oh yeah. Okay, there's not gonna be anything in that one. Let's look.
Oh, I left my glasses up there. Anything.
Do you remember if there was anything in Cyberforce related to this?
Packet captures? I don't think so.
Or
Not that I touched.
data manipulation? I don't know.
I remember I solved most of them.
Good job, man.
Oh, is this one? I think this one is similar. Yeah, I think this is another like DNS export. Let's see.
If I ignore everything, this is mainly joking. If I ignore everything that is
Bro, it's vindictive.
Wait.
Oh.
Here's a log analysis challenge from National Cyber League. I didn't do this one though.
I'm pretty sure we somehow lost like accuracy on this, even though it was the easy one.
I would believe that.
Wait.
I'm pretty sure multiple of us got wrong answers on this one because we were trying to vibe it instead of just actually doing it.
Yeah, okay, can we
The
put
problem is
a
I don't
rule
have
of
the-
don't vibe easy challenges?
Oh yeah.
The problem is I don't have
Easy
the
challenge.
instructions to go along with it, so I don't actually know what it's asking.
Yeah.
Do you remember this one, Jacob?
I'm pretty sure I tried to count it manually, like
Yeah.
without even using a tool.
Bro.
Yes.
I don't remember what it was asking for. It's worked before, I will say.
And that one's not a very long
I have
file.
managed to do that before.
How
That
about
was me in 2021 core,
Mm,
so.
it patched that method
is this
since then.
all in one folder?
No, I've just gotten smarter and don't do that anymore.
This is
Cap.
Sure,
Should we look at this one?
Can I pet that dog?
I now know
Here's this
how,
one.
how things work.
2000. Well, let's try Jacob's.
I used Excel once.
Ooh, no DNS.
Excel.
Yeah, I opened one of the logs in Excel once and like did it, one of the like medium ones, maybe a hard one, I don't know.
Cool.
But I did it in Excel. It's
Is
doable,
this
you know,
T-
one
oh,
of,
this is like
105.
HTTPS traffic.
Please.
Wait.
For an interview for one of my interviews was log analysis in an Excel file.
That's
We
amazing.
do pivot tables and VLOOKUps.
Pivot tables and VLOOKUps.
Why is this in one of your interviews?
You know, getting ready for that cubicle job, you know?
Yeah, well, I don't know. The other thing that like was annoying was like it was like 10,000 lines, I think.
And Excel does not want to load that.
It was
Or
alright.
maybe the one I had was.
I got it done. We had
There's
an hour to
there's
do it,
actually a
so
good
like,
amount of
we did, like, an
PCAP
hour before
files I
it.
have from NCL from last spring.
It was alright.
See again though, I didn't save any of the instructions, so I don't
So
know
why do
what
you
any
save
of them are
instructions
asking
for
for.
NCL?
Let's close that one. This capture is literally 17.
Small different
The
quantity.
thing is, like a lot of the PCAP challenges, there's not even actual flags. It's just like
Yeah.
how many routers sent a router advertisement.
Decrypted. I guessing for this one I already figured out the password. Anyway, yeah, I don't really have anything else. Maybe I should start saving screenshots of the instructions with the
I
challenges.
mean, I think the gym's open if you register for NCL right now.
Oh, yeah, let me put in my credit card info.
Yeah, on the
Is that the
YouTube.
cat OSINT one? Screw that challenge. I couldn't
Which
get
one?
that.
Oh, yeah.
That's an easier one. Remember driver was in?
Yeah, okay, maybe.
Oh, look, there's
maybe
a
not
picture
really
of a
worth the
flag.
ships.
Look.
5 out of 10 rage bait.
I know this.
What's great?
I'm improving it.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
did that
get those
with him,
numbers
so
up.
I agree.
What do you mean?
What?
What level of wage bait are you on?
The driver Rosen.
Okay.
Alright, well, that's pretty much all I get
Alright.
I found that.
today.
We found it too late.
Wage phase, a huge chunk of existence at 1 a.m.
Missed about half.